Hello. Have you ever wondered how important our gut microbiome is for our health? Well, stay tuned because I will be talking today with Trevor from Crohn Crusaders, and we are going to be talking about the importance of gut microbiome for our health. Hello, Trevor.
Hey, good morning. Good
How are
afternoon.
you
How are you?
doing? Afternoon
I'm
for
doing
me for
great.
sure. I am very good. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. It's a little cloudy here today, but the weather is starting to become very, very lovely here in Florida. We've been waiting for this.
Yeah, I think we are waiting for it as well. It means like end of September. We still have 29 degrees, but we have an odd cloud, which very rarely happens on Canary Islands. And we're praying for
Oh,
cloud and for the rain. So that's actually we never get
that's
rain
good.
here. Well, today you've heard my little introduction. I would like to talk, of course, about the importance of gut microbiome. On my channel, I usually focus about on like women's health in general, and I talk a lot
Mhm.
about PCOS. But myself, I have a lot of gut issues, so I started getting interested in the subject.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah. So I would like you to introduce yourself very quickly and tell us how you got into your microbiome research and tell us briefly
Yeah.
your story because I know it's fascinating.
Yes, it is really fascinating, and it's one of those things where I always say we never know where life is going to take us. It's such a beautiful journey, right? And at times it can be very, very difficult, as it was for me. So, how I really reached this point with the microbiome is that I suffered from chronic disease for most of my life, for, pretty much all my life, every single day, Crohn's disease or, my stomach was something I thought about. You know, am I going to be able to go to the beach today? Am I going to be able to go to school today? Am I going to be able to go on a date today? Um, it just always, always, always was a problem. And I could never find a real solution. I was born in Canada. It kind of started when I was very young, and it just continued to get worse and worse and worse. And through two countries and the best of the best doctors, none of them could come up with a better way other than, you know, trying a medicine. And if that medicine didn't work, and I got to the point where I was so sick, they would just cut parts of my body out. And
Mm.
for most of my life, I thought that that was my only option that I had, because that's what the best doctors in the world told me. When I asked them specifically about the food and stuff, they said it doesn't matter. If it's bothering you, just don't eat it. And everybody knows that that just can't be right. And I thought that as well. But what did I know? I was just a kid. They're experts in their field. And as I went on and got older and older, it just became worse and worse. And I was trying different holistic and different type of things. And I always felt like I was very close to understanding what was going on with me, but I could just never get, like put it all together. And in 2012, life was going great. I was recovering from prior resection in 2008. And in 2012, I was in Minnesota working as a special deputy, volunteering with the police department, running the security of the Science Museum of Minnesota, literally living the American dream, and I was like, oh, I don't have to worry about Crohn's anymore. They cut it out of me. Great. And then one day I remember, it was always in the back of my mind, like if it's going to come back, because when you're sick with chronic disease, you can look at something and that could trigger you. So,
Mm.
I remember that morning, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this lactate free milk, this lactate free milk and just see, maybe I can have it again, and, I did. I had a bolus. Actually had a glass of milk. I can't remember, a glass of milk or bolus cereal. And right after that, I started feeling different. Like it was so weird. Like right after that, I started feeling different. And within a few weeks, I felt in my heart like I was going back down that way because of my symptoms. And that is actually what happened. And it got to the point where I became so sick I couldn't go to work. And I had one of the best jobs in the city, and I was getting many offers for many jobs in criminal justice because of the work I was doing. And I had to turn jobs down, $100,000 job offer. I had to turn it down, which would have been wonderful in my progression, but that's what happens with chronic disease. It's taken many opportunities. I got an award from the chief of police here in Orlando, recommended to the FBI, disqualified. When I was a kid, I graduated high school. I wanted to play baseball, but I was dealing with all these things and it just caused issues for me. I tried to go into the Army. Very last day, I saw the doctor, go through all this testing and stuff. Very last day, sorry, we have to disqualify you. So this has been a constant thing that has always been going on in my life. So in 2012, when I got so sick, I came back here to Florida for my parents to help me out, and I got more sick, and I got all the way down to 120 pounds, and I was just at my wit's end. I didn't think anything better was going to come. I thought I was going to die. I couldn't see my kids. It really causes issues with relationships, and stuff, because people don't understand what you're going through. And if they look at you and you seem like you might be okay, why aren't you working? Why aren't you doing more? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why aren't you reaching what your capabilities, your potential? Well, because it's disease. I take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, So at that point, I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to have my entire colon removed. My doctor, one of the top doctors in the world, was working on a cure for that at that time. And, when they explained the procedure to me, it just really scared me, and I said, I don't know, but I guess I'll have to do it. And when I was in the got past the ER, I'm in the hospital, and the doctor comes to see me to talk to me for my colonoscopy. And, I said, hey, doc, would you mind please just taking your time? I feel like this is probably my last chance. I can't eat. I can't walk. I looked like a skeleton. My mom thought, I was dying. It was really, really tough. And when I said, please just take your time so the doctor can do the surgery, it would be great. Best results. And pretty much it was the same thing that I encountered my entire life. I know what I'm doing. I've done this a million times. And when you're so sick like that and you feel like you're on the edge of life and death, that's not what you want to hear, And so I became very upset, and I kicked the doctor out of my room. And it led to this chain of events, which had me really, really, really beg my doctor for the medication that he was basing his cure on, which came out last year, as a matter of fact. And for 3 weeks, I kept asking him for the medication. And he didn't want to see me because I wasn't doing what he wanted. He said, I'm going to die if I don't do it. There's a potential for that. And I was just tired of the cycle, get healthier, get all this effort to get my life back in order, try to get my money again correct, get back with my career, and then 3 steps back. So I said, you know what? Either I'm going to die this time or I'm going to figure this out. So I got him to give me he gave me the prescription. And, I had to figure it out because it wasn't exactly like the trials I read online and stuff. And I went through this experimentation process with it. And in about 3 months, I didn't get better, but I didn't get worse. And imagine at that time, I thought I could take antibiotics for the rest of my life. I knew nothing, and most people start there, So I started really looking into the science of why my doctor thought that particular bacteria was causing Crohn's disease. And what I found was information on the microbiome and this bacteria. And I got deeper and deeper, and I went into PubMed, studied, and I started designing these experiments for myself, based off of what I was looking at. And it took me from antibiotics, probiotic pills, fermented foods, and eventually led me to kefir, as my main probiotic. And when I was able to heal my body to the point where my doctor said I must have used witchcraft 7 months later, using the bathroom 1 time a day, back to 175 pounds, the healthiest I've ever been, what I realized later, at first, I said, oh, this is the way, this is the only way. But what I realized later is even that, I was able to have such a significant, contribution. What I realized later is that that's really the most raw and barbaric way to heal your bodies, with food and managing stress. Now I understand the importance of mindset, the gut-brain axis, how breathing is important. So it's funny when I tell people that a lot of people are like, that's amazing. But to me now, because I continued my health journey, I said, hey, what else is there? And I embraced nature. And the more I've embraced nature, the more the universe has been revealing things to me. And so now I realize that, hey, mindset is truly the number one probiotic, So anyone who's suffering out there with IBS, IBD, high blood pressure, you want to lose weight, you have a dog that's attacking people, anything like that, it's all connected to this axis, And if you're able to help the gut, you help the brain function better. You're able to help the brain, you help the gut. It's a two-way street. And if you focus on the cells of your body at the same time, incorporate the fundamentals, grounding, breath work, getting out in nature, going to the beach, these are the things in a complementary way now in 2020 that I have so much success with my program, just teaching information, because instead of putting
Mm.
everything in one basket and doing whatever else and saying, oh, let me take this medicine today, or let me take this kefir today, or let me take this whatever, you know, you're doing many things, and it makes it so much easier. You don't have to work so hard. You create a healthy lifestyle. You understand what's happening with your body. And at the end of the day, you don't need now to go to somebody and say, hey, tell me about my health, because you understand all the principles in unison. If you were to get sick from stress, antibiotics, you know why, like people that have gone through my program, and you just apply the fundamentals and you practice, and you get to a point where there is no going backwards, because you realize I have to stay like that, because it's not a cure. It's not a magic bullet. It's a lifestyle. And you create the
Mhm.
healthy lifestyle, you live it, and by default, your body has to heal. There's no way, So we know that we didn't come from GNC. We know we didn't come from the NHS, like we didn't come from a lab. We came from nature. And if you believe that's God, or if you believe it's the universe, we know that either God or the Big Bang Theory, all these things created us from stardust. And that's what we are. So when you embrace what's around you, that's how you help your body heal, not going inside the house or going to a lab, things like that. And
Mm.
but if you use those other things in a responsible way and medical technology, now we're getting to where we want to be. Instead of having
Mhm.
this ego that, hey, oh, we don't need to worry about an apple. We can just replace the apple. Oh, screw the sun. We'll just replace the sun.
Mhm.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and you know what I find very interesting, because I just did a video with one of my colleagues, Beth, and we both suffer from PCOS. I also have thyroid issues. I have anxiety. I have very sensitive gut. She also has another thing with her gut. She has EDS. My mom has IBS. And funny thing is like that now for all of those diseases, it's not popular opinion what you're saying, weirdly, because people who probably will watch us now will be like, oh no, I just want to take a supplement and be over with, but it actually takes
Right.
work,
Yes.
which is not fun
Hard work.
when you think about it. It will be easier to take a pill and get it over with, instead of changing your stressful job, relationships, going out in nature and changing your whole lifestyle. However,
Right.
it's more and more where we see that not only, like you said, for your gut and for your mind, but there's more and more connections that people are doing with every single thing, because I am unfortunate to have few chronic diseases. So I see that the lifestyle, the mindset, the breathing, the nature,
Yes.
the probiotics
Yes.
are coming in every single one of them,
Mm-hmm.
which, it's not just brain and gut, of course. Then is the
Yes. Yes. Yes.
cascade of all the other diseases that
Right.
happen
Right. Right.
after.
Right. 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 Yes.
So,
Yes.
so it's great to know that actually it influences every single system in our body, every
Every
single
single
one.
thing. Everything.
And it's funny for me, because it's like people almost brush it off. Especially, I mean, I live on Tenerife and I'm surrounded by a lot of British people, so very westernized culture as well.
Mm-hmm.
As American is, we are a little bit different
Yeah.
in the East, in Poland, with a little bit different still eating habits, fortunately. But a lot of people don't understand how important food is. They kind of brush it off in a way that, oh yeah, I just ate Brussels sprouts, covered in melted cheese, so that's okay. So
Yeah.
I ate because I ate one, and they don't understand that it's kind of, you're giving your body also building blocks, per se, to
Yes.
build the cell,
Yes.
but also to
Great point.
feed your microbiome. But can you touch a little bit on how do you think, because you touched a little bit on it briefly, from the mindset point of view, how our westernized life, both in terms of diet and mindset and general lifestyle, can influence our microbiome?
Yes, and that's a really good a question, I guess. We're so programmed now. If you go back, let's talk about just the United States, right? If you go back just 40 years ago, we lived very differently. We grew our food more naturally. We didn't use things like glyphosate, things like that. And we got to a point in this country where we said, okay, let's see what what we can do with technology. We went to the moon, we created all these really cool things, and then we moved more into the health sector, and we said, you know, we really want to get people working into the contributing to society, right? So we have so many people that can get sick from certain things. Let's really try to replace, like I was saying before, replace nature. And people have been buying into this because everywhere you turn for the past, I would say up to about 5 years ago, everywhere you turned, you would see a commercial for this or that or this, or do you have this? You could die from it, but you could also get very healthy. Flip a coin. Would you do it? Yes, I'll do it. And that's what we did because we're so wanting everything in the now. We want it right now. And that's the way we've been socially programmed. Like none of this stuff happens by accident. There's a system to all of it. And none of it is to hurt our health. I'm not a believer of the government or anyone is trying to destroy our health, because I tell people this all the time. Doctors have always told us to get sleep, to eat fiber, and to drink water. So if they want to kill us, they're not going to tell us that, right? So maybe they didn't know the reasons for all these things, but they've been giving us the good information. The scientists who are providing them with the information now are the ones working on these specific things, right? But, instead of waking up in the morning and going for a jog, we're reaching for our cell phone. We're on our phone for 2 hours, and it's because we're socially programmed. We want to know, what did Debbie do when she went out last night? Oh, did John like my picture? Oh man, Lucifer was on last night. What was the recap, of that show? And it's just like we've got away from what we're supposed to be because society is programming us to think that this is the way we're supposed to live. And if you try, for example, the Wim Hof technique for 2 minutes, you're instantly going to know the reality is not what we're living. This has been created for us, for business and, to make the country successful. But once you take yourself out of some of that mindset, what you realize is, holy crap, life is much different than I thought. And it's not about leaving my family every day. Right. It's not about leaving my family every day to go help, Johnson & Johnson become such a great company. It's about really, having what I need to be home and be with my family and teach my kids that, you need to understand these concepts, because if you don't, they are going to market to you to eat these cereals, to, if you look at the NBA, for example, they advertise beer at the games, if you play basketball, you don't want to drink beer, they should be advertising more things like that, so.
They do it in UK as well. It's shocking.
Right. We've got away from the cigarettes, obviously, thank God. Doctors told us before, smoking cigarettes is good for our respiratory health, So I know that doctors are in a position where I would say 90% of them came in to be a doctor with great intentions, but when they're going through this process of, modern medicine, it's so convincing to them. Imagine you're in their position. It's so convincing to them, the science you're working on, you're being told you're a God, you're being, elevated and things like that. $200,000 education, you come out of it and you do believe, that, hey, maybe I had it wrong. Maybe it doesn't matter how I breathe. Maybe all I need is to take some Zantac, or something like that, And they do believe it, because if you put yourself in that position, regardless how I felt about what happened to me, if you put yourself in that position, you spend 10 years of your life, you're not going to come out of that and think, oh yeah, that was a waste of time, So that's why I'm embracing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that I think that there is one more thing that plays into it, because there is a lot of doctors who, of course, deal with patients. And I know doctors who have the best intentions in a way that they even want to promote lifestyle before they prescribe medication. But they get so much backlash from the actual people who come in, from actual patients, because they're like, well, if I prescribed you, if I told you so many times to start exercising and eating more vegetables, but your cholesterol is still going up, I don't want to have it on me that you're going to have a heart attack. So I'm going to give you statins, because I have no control over your lifestyle and you don't want to do anything about it. So I think that's another thing, because I came across one doctor in my life, which I think was just so already, she kept on saying this, but she knew it kind of like she's not going to listen. And she actually told me that for my particular PCOS, I should go low glycemic because I have insulin problems. But she was kind of like, yeah, go low glycemic. Kind of like, I know you're not going to do it anyway. You know, and I'm like, why? And she didn't really want to talk about it, but I made, you know, a little bit more research, and that even took me down the, you know, lifestyle healing, holistic healing kind of route. So I think that some doctors would want to do that and would want holistic approach. It's just that the patients are taught that the pill is the solution. So they want the pill. Give me the pill.
Yes. So now it's, you know, we're not going to change the mind of our, you know, if we look at a whole society, people our age, right? We're similar age. People our age, they're not really changing their mind. They believe what they believe, right? Some people believe plant-based, some people believe conventional medicine, some people believe, you know, whatever. But the main focus for me is helping the people that are sick, that been told that there's nothing they can do, and helping the people that don't know about this information. And the other biggest thing is looking at the future, the kids that are coming, our children, our children's children, and those are the people that need to understand this, because they're being the ones that are, you know, right now we're in a position where America's either going to do two things. We're going to go medicine and bye-bye immune system, or the people are going to be able to take back their health independence, you know. And we've been programmed for so long that you have a chronic disease, that's your diagnosis. Like, I speak to so many people that say, I went to the doctor, they gave me this diagnosis, I cried for a week. And I work with them, and I'm not prescribing, I'm not a doctor. I talk to them about the fundamentals of health, body, mind, and the planet. I show them the science. I talk to them about some strategies, and they're able to start changing it. And they say, well, why did my doctor tell me that? You know, and it goes back to what you're saying. You know, it's very difficult, but I do know that there are a wave of really good lifestyle medicine doctors now and functional medicine doctors. We've been blessed here at Crohn's Crusaders. We have an amazing doctor that's coming on tomorrow to talk to the students. You can find her on Instagram at Plant-Based Gut Doc, Vanessa Mendez. She's amazing, and the two of us share a very similar vision, which is beautiful because she has the best conventional medicine training, and she understands the holistic. So she talks to them specifically about food, you know. There's another great doctor that I talked to that is doing great work. Her name's Irina. Her handle is at Gut Love. Amazing doctor. So I look for these doctors. I look for the doctors that are doing great work, and I go talk to them, and I help them in certain ways that they don't know about because they haven't had this experience. And together, we're able to work with the community, you know. So even though it looked a little glim there, you know, a little dim, you know, dim for a while, things are looking up. And I feel like there's a great future because the people that we want in these positions, the doctors, we're getting the good ones now. And they understand it. They see it. They understand it. They're applying it. So, and like you said, some people just don't want to do the work, you know, and they want to take a pill and they want to just live to 75 years old, you know. So
and I
everybody
think,
has their own
what
path,
is another thing? Another thing which I encounter very often, I mean, as you said, doctors are putting 10 years into their education, and they are the ones that work very hard, and they are also the victims of that lifestyle. So very often they don't even have time to find out about these new findings. Because I found that you know, when I'm going to younger doctor, there's maybe a little bit more inquisitive, and they recommend change of lifestyle for my thyroid or whatever. Supplementation, they even thought about it at all. Those are people who are being trained either now or have a little bit different lifestyle already. Being a doctor and like working all the time, it's not probably time to be balanced.
It is so difficult. It is so difficult. That's why when I came, you know, as I've gone through this journey and I've seen that literally any one of these doctors could have figured this out that I figured out, right? And it made me very upset because I've lost parts of my body. You know, we talked about these things. And, you know, I realized the same thing you're saying. The doctors are in such a tough position. They are, you know, like imagine I have to be, you know, cognizant of that. And that's why, you know, I'm not angry at doctors. And that's why now I've realized years have passed. And I finally, a few years ago, really got to the point of saying, let me embrace, you know, do I want to help people? Yes. How can I help people the most? It's not about me. Look at me. It's about me going to where the patients are. They're with the doctors, right? So how do you help the patients? You help the doctors, then they help the patients. So now, because I've taken this approach, I've been blessed. I'm in a unique position that doctors will speak to me, and before 20 years ago, 10 years ago, if I messaged a doctor, I would never get a response back. But now things are changing. Doctors know that, hey, this guy figured this out, and either A, we go along saying this is the way and it's just fiber, etc. Like, for example, or we learn to include all these things. We can be a part of that, and together we all can make this huge mission happen, because if I can build this community the way I'm trying to, America, Canada, Australia, Africa, doesn't matter, all the countries in Africa, whatever it is, if we make this network across the world, and it's clear and it's undisputable that if you work in your gut microbiome in 10 ways, I have these 10 ways, and use these 10 ways, by default, your body's going to heal. There's no way around it. So even if a doctor comes to me now and says, Trevor, you don't know what you're talking about, within 10 minutes, that doctor is going to want something from me. And that's how it goes, it's because I'm open-mindful, I try to be respectful, and the universe has blessed me, which is weird because I've been through so much, but I really feel blessed. And I feel like I can have as much money in the world, and it will never make me feel as good as I do when somebody tells me or sends me a testimonial that, hey, I can live my life again. I can live my dreams. I can't believe it, because that was me. That was me. I tried to take my life. I went into the garage. I took 12 Benadryl. I ran the car. I put the door down. I expected not to wake up, but I did. I tried to shoot myself one time, and it's because you get to that point where you see no help. Nobody gives you any hope. There's no hope that you can heal yourself. So when I went through this in 2012, 2013, there wasn't gut health. Gut health didn't exist. You couldn't go on Instagram and find a gut health reboot. There was nothing there. So now this new wave of doctors are practicing once again. They're practicing how to figure out the microbiome. And it's always going to be a practice, but because of the timing, what I went through and my desperation to not die, I was able, out of, they say necessity is the mother of invention, right? So I was able to come up with this. So I know now when doctors say, this is the way it's done, I know when I look at it, that's not the way it's done, So instead of hopping on their page and saying you're wrong, I'll send them a DM and say, hey, take a look at this. Maybe we can talk about this. We can help you have more success, which will help them, help their patients, which will obviously help me, right? And it's very important that it doesn't matter what's going on with your body. You have to bring the microbiome and the gut microbiome as key parts of your strategy, or else you will never be able to get yourself to a point where you can get over the hump to live healthy. Because if you just get there to the edge and you have a million stresses hitting you every day, you're drinking chlorinated water, you have sugar sneaking into your foods, throwing your level of good to bad off, you're eating foods that you don't know you think are great plant-based that are stuffed with glyphosate, you think you're eating an apple that's great from the farm, but it doesn't have enzymes, it's not digesting properly, so it's really, just saying, hey, how can we find more ways to even make this process even more efficient? And that's really what my goal is, because I'm sure the more I speak to doctors, they're going to teach me things that I don't know, It doesn't have to be so scientific. It has to be practical applications. You can try it and say, oh, shit, that's real and that works. I'm going to try that again. You try it again.
And
oh, wow, okay, I'll keep trying it, because it inspires you and empowers you to do it yourself. And
exactly, and I think as well, like we've been talking about the doctors as well, and I always say to people, because again, I have nothing against doctors, but doctor sees you through 10-15 minutes and they have to figure you out, and they don't know how the fact that you're going to toilet 17 times and then your muscles are cramping different time, and this happens and you have acne, how they all connect. You are with you 24/7. And for us, like with people with chronic diseases, whatever the disease is, when you have something like, in my case, sometimes very bad fatigue or gut issues as well, or with you, Crohn's disease or anything like that, we are lucky in a way that we were forced to figure it out. Some people, when they have, just like I don't know why my stomach is bad today, and for last 2 months, and I'm gaining weight, and my psoriasis is getting worse, or whatever it is, and they don't look at themselves. They can be struggling throughout their whole life, but when you come to the wall, you're like, okay, I need to try something. And when you are in such a bad position, very often you notice quicker what works and what doesn't, because you start to be more focused on your health. It's just simple as that. So I am all pro definitely healing yourself, and especially now when you've been talking also about how it all connects. For me, it's fascinating, the stress and the microbiome and the gut health and all of that, because I suffer from anxiety, of course. So I don't know what came first. Is it gut, anxiety, PCOS? Because they're thyroid, they're all connected. So nobody knows what comes first. What do you think about stress?
So this is what I think. So our health is very simple. It seems very complicated because we have a million different experts in different areas, keto, paleo, vegan, right? But the truth of the matter is, if you look at the body, everything starts in the gut, right? So if your gut is not in balance, your hormones can't be in balance. So, I'm not a doctor. I can't guarantee you this, but I'll give you a pretty good idea. If you work on your gut microbiome with specific techniques, your thyroid, your hormones are going to balance itself out. The reason why it's out of whack right now is because your gut's out of whack. Your vitamin D hormone regulation's out of whack. Your hormones in general are out of whack. And, once that begins to get back in balance, those things start to go away. So take medication for your thyroid for the rest of your life, and that will help you. Or you can get to
Sorry, can you repeat that? You can either take the thyroid medication for the rest of your life, or
you can get to the root cause of the problem, which is your gut. So in 2020, just imagine, with all of these things going on, all these stresses, all these things going on, we still have the ability to very easily manipulate our health to be perfectly healthy. That shows you the power of our bodies, of humans, like how amazing our bodies are, that we can still easily fix our health. Even if somebody goes through my program and they feel great, in 5 years, they go through, they have to take antibiotics and they get stressed out and they get, to that point in 6 again, easily heal their body. They don't need me. They don't need the doctor to tell them what to do, but they need the doctor to check them, check their blood and stuff. So that's what I'm trying to do, really, is say, you're the best doctor in the world. You have a great practice. You're a fertility coach. You coach the Minnesota Vikings. All of these things have the same thing in common. Gut health has to be in order for you to be successful at anything you do. Health, you want to be a director of YMCA, you want to swim across the English Channel, your gut health has to be in order. If it's not, you'll never be able to reach your full maximum potential. And now, by having my gut health in order, even though I'm missing most of my colon because of, the work of the scientists, to be honest with you, I'm still very healthy. I'm the healthiest I've been in my entire life, and I don't even have a full human body, to be honest, but it goes to show you, if you understand the fundamentals of what your body needs, you're fine. I work with people that have no gallbladder, and if they understand why they need a gallbladder and they take that into account when they eat food, they're fine. They can live as long as until, their life is over. So
gallbladder scare this year turned out to be nothing, but I was like, I'm not getting rid of my gallbladder.
Thank God, please. Even your appendix, for example, appendix, it gets taken out a lot. Your appendix is actually very important. It actually serves as a reservoir for your gut health, your gut bacteria. So, people wonder why they're able to easily bounce back from antibiotics if they don't take probiotics. Sometimes it's because that reservoir from the appendix helps to, it's kind of like your radiator and your overflow tank. Our bodies and car engines and cars, it's so similar. It's like, if I help somebody to help themselves to get healthy, it can be great for a long time. And if they don't do maintenance on their body, it cannot stay like that. It's impossible. You have to be healthy. And it's just like a car. You buy a car brand new, it runs perfect. 30,000 miles. If you're not taking care of the car, well, you better find somebody on Auto Trader or Craigslist or somewhere to sell that car
Mm.
because, and it's the same thing, it's just slowing down, concentrating on what's important, and every single day saying, life is busy, life is hectic. I need to pay myself back by spending a few hours to just take care of me, and it's not
Mm.
taking pills, taking supplements. Some of those things are important, but it's really understanding, breathe, get outside, move your body, slow your brain down, choose to
Mm.
eat well, and
Mm.
that's really it. There's nothing
Yeah.
complicated to any of this.
Yeah.
And
But
over time, this will very, very, that the changes, the general approach to health will definitely change because people will know. I don't need to go to
mm.
the doctor to say, please tell me what's wrong with me. You can have an idea, and even though the doctor gives you a diagnosis, you can take the steps, use epigenetics, and get yourself and get your life back.
hmm Okay, but without going into the too much detail, because of course you mentioned that you have the whole program and you have the whole 10 steps how to how to heal your microbiome. Could you give us few tips of what to do
Absolutely,
to keep your
and
microbiome healthy?
absolutely, and I like to throw this out there that when it comes to Crohn's disease and IBD, um, I was there obviously, and I was struggling. I had no money, I had no help. My parents did help me. I couldn't. I was struggling in 2012. They brought me in and stuff, but I really didn't have any help. And because of that, anybody who goes through this, if they reach out to me through Crohn's Crusaders, I help them for free. If you're 18 years old and under, I'll never charge you for anything. I've probably charged, I don't even remember if I've charged anybody for anything. I have 30 people in my program right now, and they're all being helped for free all around the world. Um, and none of this information is a secret. I want every single person in the world to have this information because this is what they need. So here's a typical morning for me. And when people come to me and say, Trevor, what can I do? I say, try this routine tomorrow and then get back to me and let me know. So what I like to do is wake up between 4 and 8 a.m. because that puts you in the rhythms with the planet. You do this consistently, your body and the planet gets in rhythm, right? As soon as you wake up, you take a little bit of your favorite probiotic food, not a pill. Why a food? Because the food has vitamins, nutrients, minerals. It's not just a strain of probiotics, right? So you take that just a little bit in the morning and you step right outside, barefoot, do some grounding, some breathing. You connect with nature, right? 30 minutes later, you now take your prebiotic. And because you fasted overnight, when you took that probiotic food in the morning, it really took it into your body. And if you think about going fishing, people fish early in the morning because the fish are biting the most. Our gut microbes are the most active in the morning, so you take advantage of this. And instead of just saying, let me just feed it with prebiotic fiber and a plant-based diet for the most part, this is your opportunity to add the bacteria in that'll help you get over the hump. Later in the day, you give it that prebiotic fiber to feed what you added and what's there. This is how you get over the hump of gut health. It's not just feeding, 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 right? So 30 minutes later, you do honey and garlic. I always suggest this because not only is it prebiotic, it's antibacterial. Honey has been one of the best and most underutilized products in this world. And garlic, everyone knows about garlic, right? So now at this point, your body got the probiotic food in. It's working in there. You're feeding it. You haven't overloaded your body with food. So instead of digesting, really, it's working to help heal, right? Now, about an hour later, you're going to be hungry, right? So either you can go for a little light walk and do some exercises after your grounding, or you can do some meditation. And this is what I suggest, and this is what I do. So literally, it's not about thinking about, oh, that beautiful beach and paradise. That's what I used to do, and that's why I was never able to connect. It is about your breath work, and it's not about the word meditation. It's about breath work and breathing and just slowing everything down in the morning, just slowing it down, setting the tone for the day, going through doing this a few times. And before you get into your meditation, you do pre-meditation breath work. This will filter out all the noise, distractions, the things you want to think about, and you work your way through that. And then you get to the meditation, you do this for 30 minutes or so. After that, you're going to be hungry and sweating. You'll be like, wow, that was a workout. You go inside, now you're eating functionally again. avocados, things that are really going to feed your body. You feed your brain health, right? Healthy fats, protein, good protein. You stay away from commercial dairy. You use fermented foods, fermented dairy, if you want to do that. But you focus on feeding your gut bacteria. You focus on destroying those bad cells in your body with nutrition, right? And that's really it. So you can either after you eat your meal, go for a light walk or something like that, and then that's it. 10 o'clock in the morning, you've done 90% of your work. You feel fantastic. You have this amazing momentum going. Your body feels fantastic. And guess what you're not going to do? Go to McDonald's now and eat a hamburger, right? Because you had so much, you feel so good. Your body's vibrating and you're like, wow, this is amazing. The next day you do it again. The next day you do it again. Consistency. And over time you realize, yes, this food is really helping, yeah. But this morning breath work, this meditation, this connecting with energy, this is the key. This is the key to everything, and that's really it. So the rest of the day, you're just maintaining, you're eating, good, nutritious foods. You're making sure that if you eat meat, you realize that it's not about the chemicals in meat. It's about the hormones that are further throwing off your hormones, which will not allow your body to work properly. So that's why I suggest people, if you're trying to heal your body, you should probably just cut meat out for 30 days. Not that meat is bad, it's that the wrong meat is just taking you backwards, So just those things, those simple steps in the morning, that's it, and that'll start having an impact that'll allow people to see changes in their body, which inspires them, empowers them, and motivates them to continue. And then they continue and they realize that, hey, it's not about being vegan. It's not about being keto. It's not about going Mediterranean. It's about understanding all of these things and using them all. Because once you start seeing changes and you embrace nature, just like me, you say, what else is there? Like, what else is possible? And because of the open-mindedness, I believe that's why you'll see people that are very successful in this field continue to grow, and work with other people and realize that, hey, in 2020, America, for example, has only been here a few hundred years, really, right? We're just getting started. We're just like a baby that was just born that's still in diapers. People don't want to hear that, but it's true. How in our infancy do we have it all figured out? It's never happened in the history of anything else. It's not going to happen when it comes to our health, which is the most complicated, So it's just being consistent, embracing nature, and trying these techniques to connect you with nature. And that'll allow your body on its own to manifest, to move into the direction of reading the tea leaves of nature and the universe, And it really gives you a different idea of what gut health is. Gut health isn't probiotics. Gut health is Deepak Chopra. People that talk about mindset, that's gut health. It's through the mindset, and when you're able to realize that, like I said, healing the body with stress reduction and food is barbaric, you realize that on your own, through your own journey, because you realize that, hey, I didn't even have my let's say I didn't even have my probiotics for 2 weeks, but I've been doing my mindset. I've been eating well. I'm keeping my body in that frequency that our body needs to be in for it to be alkaline and not acidic, And
yeah. And I'm very fascinated about this because I noticed my health. I was fine until I was 25 years old. I was healthy, But I come from a family that has very bad relationship with food. My grandma was diabetic. We ate breakfast cake, dinner cake, every time cake. And it was the way of cope with stress. So not only we are very stressed people, but also we love sugar. And I noticed that some people do it with alcohol. We at least do it with sugar. But
which is worse.
I don't know. Both are bad because sugar you can eat all day long.
Yeah, they're both very bad. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that for me, the first thing that went, first I think I got endometriosis, but then I got thyroid issues. And the connection between the horrible stress period that I had was just I couldn't deny it. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Because
yes,
it was
yes.
obvious I had a very stressful time in my life, and my health just was like one diagnosis, other diagnosis, other diagnosis, other diagnosis. So you know what is the reason. You know,
Yes.
you can't possibly deny it. And it's weird for me. I mean, weird. Most people don't listen what happens in their head. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They don't
I
even
absolutely agree.
notice their own inner chatter, their own, you know, me being a person who is very inquisitive and very, you know, I still have anxiety, so I'm still working on that, clearly. But at least noticing what is happening in your head and when does it happen. Oh, wait, I've been on my phone whole evening and then I have nightmares and I sleep bad. Well, maybe I shouldn't have
Right.
done it because
Exactly.
I'm thinking about work all the time. Or I'm waking up stressed. What can I do to start my day better instead of chugging for coffees? You know, we are not tuned in what actually happens right here, right now.
Yes.
Like we don't even
So
notice
true.
what's happening. It's unbelievable for me that people don't understand that connection. And I have people in my very close life as well who do that all the time. And my mom was kind of diagnosed with IBS. I don't know. They told her, you probably have IBS, but they never went into that.
Yeah.
She said every time she is stressed, she just feels a knot in her stomach straight away. And then for months, she cannot eat anything. She has inflammation in her stomach after stress so badly. And then she overeats the other way. Even though we come from a culture where we used to eat a lot of fermented dairy, and the dairy from a village, from a neighbor, not from a supermarket. And we ate a lot of sauerkraut when I was a kid. That starts disappearing.
In Poland,
but that starts disappearing.
Oh, right, yeah, right.
Yeah. So in Poland, it used to be good. Now I was also talking to my mom, telling her to get some unpasteurized sauerkraut, because now everything is pasteurized, even in Poland. But yeah, definitely stress I think is different. But I think what people like, for myself, for example, and I'm thinking some people who watch us right now will have the same idea, because I've been on my health journey for now 6 years.
Yeah, we'll always be on our health journey. That journey always continues.
True. But for 6 years. And I'm keto now for 7 months.
Okay.
7 months. And I went to keto because that cured my acne and regulated my hormones, like my periods and so on.
Right.
And now let's say I'm listening to you and you're going saying plant-based. And I'm thinking to myself, I eat fruit and I get acne. You know, what do I do? That is my question.
I can't tell you what to do because I'm not a licensed doctor or anything like that. But I can tell you that keto is great for specific things and techniques, right? But it's not a great idea to let keto be your way of life, and it's also not the best idea to be vegan, right? If you're doing it for your health, if you're doing it for the animals, completely understand. But if you're doing it for your health, you're really limiting your body's ability to heal, right? And yes, keto did help you. Look at this, for example. A lot of people go vegan, and within the first 30 days, first 2 months, their life changes dramatically. And people say, wow, you look fantastic. Oh, inflammation is going down. Oh, I lost so much weight and I feel so much better. But then they plateau because they cannot get over the hump. So I think I've had one person so far that was vegan that told me that they're healed. And I took them through the test that I have to see if people are healed. And they weren't, but that person was, right? But it's very unusual to be healed from just vegan. So you are definitely seeing some benefits of going keto, because keto is a great tool, right? Just like being vegan and things like that. But when you only choose specific ways to live your life, you're really limiting your body's ability to heal, right? So if you incorporated many of these things I'm talking about, you get to your destination faster. Let's say you had a family member in New York and you're in Florida. Your family member is leaving there tomorrow afternoon. And if you fly there, you can get there and see her. But the safest way that you feel in your system, your soul, to get there is to walk. You're going to get there, but by the time you get there, things are going to be a lot different than you thought they're going to be. All kinds of variables. It's going to be difficult for that to happen. It's just a very difficult thing to do. you have to put yourself pretty much in a bubble with stress. And the other side of that is if you do isolate yourself, you're not getting the microbiome from other people, environments, and things like that, you know? So it's difficult, but if people want to go vegan, I support them because, you know, that's their decision. But I help them understand the tools. Like you have to make sure the basic, you know, things are being met. But I promise you that if you want to fix your thyroid, a way that will promote healing, you know, obviously I'm not a doctor, I can't give medical advice. If you want to promote healing, you can balance your gut. And you can come back, you know, I can take you through my program, you know, and you can come back on your podcast and you can talk about what happened. But for me, you know, right now it's really just I work with people. They have amazing results. They say what happened to them and acid reflux, all those things. So what happens over time is so many people are going to have these amazing results. I don't need to say anything. I don't need to say take this for that. People just know and they embrace it. They have hundreds, thousands of other people they can talk to that went through it. That's their support system that we're growing now through Crohn's Crusaders. And you know, I'm not sure what my future holds. You know, I could go get my master's in nutrition or, you know, go back to medical school. I'm just taking it one day at a time and trying to stick true to my truth, which is doing this good work and, you know, focusing on helping people and just following the universe and just seeing, you know, which way it's going to go. You know, but if you do focus on your gut and take these strategies and with some other foods and stuff like that.
Listen, I love all the strategies apart from honey because I'm freaking out about sugar. You know, that's the problem. I always say on this channel, and I will always say that I am not a keto warrior. Like I am not definitely. I use it, as you said, as a tool. Because this was the first thing. I don't even wear any foundation. I used to have horrendous acne, you know. But I know that there might come a time when it will stop serving me, and I will be fine to moving on or switching up, or maybe I just needed that little injection, lowering my insulin to do something completely different. So I'm definitely not one of those, you know, warriors of a diet. I do whatever serves. What do you think for a person who, let's say, watches this podcast but is not ready, let's say, to do everything like that because maybe, I don't know, they don't have systems in place yet. They have 3 kids and 2 jobs, and
like most people, yes.
Exactly. What would you say to at least avoid? Are there products or behaviors that would be good starting point?
Great question. So I have a list of things that most people actually know now, which is awesome. If you're trying to heal your gut, one of the best recommendations is, like I said, avoid meat for 30 days. Unless you know that meat is fantastic, great quality, you know where that meat came from, right? Avoid sugar, avoid gluten, avoid anything that comes from a package that's processed. If you didn't make it, don't eat it. You know, that's the biggest thing. Avoid alcohol. Alcohol destroys the good bacteria, and sugar. You know, we talk about that all the time. But the biggest thing really is people say, okay, I'm eating healthy. But when I look at what they're doing, but you're using all these condiments. Not good. You're adding in these things. The salad dressing, take a look at it. So the biggest thing really is to try to stick to those basic principles. Breathe. Every hour, practice stress memory management. This is free. So every hour, you just pay yourself back. Just take a deep breath in. And it just slows everything down. And you just want to be cognizant of your breathing. Breathe through your nose, not through your mouth, and work on these breathing techniques. And, you know, just try to slow things down and use the free things, the things that are free, if you can. If you can get outside, if you can meditate, or if you meditate, go to the beach and meditate. Go stand in the water and meditate, you know. But for the food, like I said, avoid sugar, gluten. Definitely avoid dairy. There is good dairy, but it's risky, you know. It's like, no, it's just
so good.
Stay away. Just stay away, you know. So if you're not growing the food yourself at home, be mindful of it. And just because something might look healthy, if you go to the restaurant and you see they have this amazing Caesar salad or this or that, know that that's probably not healthy, you know, and use that as your unhealthy food. You know, you kind of
Mm,
change the way you look at food, change your relationship. And when you get your health in order, you can do whatever you want to do, you know?
mm,
Something very interesting I want to say before we log off here is that I've worked with so many people all over the world, not just Florida. I mean, Spain, Africa, uh, China, England, Canada, everywhere. And I've seen the same pattern. So now I know with 100% certainty, I'm not, top doctor, scientist in the world, but I do know this with absolute certainty because of experience. Over half the people that I worked with that have come to me, super chronically sick, that have gone, paid money, gone everywhere, it's the same common denominator, stress. And over half of those people were never sick. No stomach issues whatsoever. Nothing. No health issues. Can eat whatever they want. And they came to me with Crohn's disease or colitis or severe chronic disease out of nowhere. And when I go through what happened, we talk about it, it's clear as day that a prolonged, stressful, traumatic event or that event has continuously triggered their gut brain axis. And this stress, it doesn't matter if you do all these things, you're grounding, you have a personal chef, you're waking up your biorhythms, right? If you are not managing your stress, so that's why the breath work, stress memory management, breathing through your nose. That's why these are the most important things. If you cannot handle this, and to learn these things and try to manage it, then you'll never get your health. It will never go. Because here's an example. You work on your health, you've been feeling great for 6 months. You go over to your sister's house and she's giving you a hard time about your wedding and it sets you off, and you go home and like you said earlier, your stomach's in knots, you're in the bathroom and you're confused, like, what the heck? I've been eating good, I've been living great, I've been jogging, I've been exercising, red light therapy, etc. And here I am in this same position. So that
mm.
tells me, without a quantitative number, a way to measure this, that stress is the worst thing for our body. So I know now, simply breathing and slowing down this axis is the number one probiotic for health.
Yeah, and I will tell you from my experience as well. My health dramatically improved around March, April this year.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I've been eating very healthy, I've been fasting, but I had a very stressful life. Me and my boyfriend, opposite work schedules, money was short, very short sleep, stress, then
Yes,
acne,
yes.
stomach, everything goes. Lockdown started, and I know that for a lot of people, it was the opposite. It caused a lot of stress. But for me, I could finally sleep and rest and
It's
stay out on
interesting,
the
right? It's
sunshine on my
interesting.
balcony and look on the ocean. Oh my God,
Amazing.
what a change. Different person. My fatigue went away.
I love it.
And now after a few months of having regular sleep cycle, and also practicing meditation and breathing, and I make sure that at least once a week I go and I swim in the ocean, not in the pool,
Oh,
in the cold.
yes.
I noticed that the changes in my body, even from just that, as you said, are shocking. I started running. I couldn't run for the life of me. And
Wow.
one more question. Sorry, on that point, what do you think in terms of exercise is good for your gut and what is not?
That is an awesome question. So this is why I made another big discovery. And the other big discovery that I'm working my way out here, and actually Harvard's working on this at the same time. I tried to reach out to them, and they're going their own way. It's hard for people like that to work with me because who am I, right? But so this is the other discovery I made. If you're able to do these same techniques and focus on your gut, it will really help your physical appearance. It'll help you get in shape and stuff faster,
Oh
lose
yeah,
weight.
I lost 12 kilograms since lockdown, just like that. Couldn't do it
Yeah,
before.
right. If you work on your gut health now, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you look like you're in great shape, but if you're trying to lose any more fat, if you focus on some things like using the kefir and like different things like that, you shred your body fat with high intensity interval training, stuff like that. But here's what's important. I'm glad you brought that up. So many people that have Crohn's and chronic disease, like, I used to have, we would get healthy again through the medication, prednisone and stuff, and we would start exercising again and working out. But what I didn't know over the years is that this excessive working out was killing the good bacteria through this axis again through stress. So
Mm.
if you have chronic disease, you cannot work out rigorously. If you do, you have to put that bacteria in there. You can't just eat a plant-based diet to feed what's there because some of what's there has been taken away through exercise.
Mm.
So if you have chronic disease like Crohn's and you're working out all the time and you're not replenishing, you're going to get more sick because that is another form of stress. So that's a great, great question. What I suggest if you do have chronic disease is to swim, you know,
Mhm.
walk. Once you build your gut health up, you can now go to functional exercise. And before you go to the gym, before you run, you have to be able to reach down, squat, pick something up off the ground. If you fell on the ground, you shouldn't break your ankle, stuff like that. So work on your back, work on your neck. I have a buddy that I'm connected with on Instagram, Dr. Tommy John, amazing chiropractor. He's out in San Diego. I learned about spinal hygiene from him because I'm in my 40s now, and I said, yeah, I can get in great shape, but I don't want to be 70, 60 and can't pick up my daughter, or whatever, Um, I am getting kind of old now. But yeah, so that's the thing is I don't want to just be going to the gym and push weights. I want to be able to be functional. So, and this is what I teach too in the program. I try to cover everything. So you go from rebuilding the gut, taking it easy, building your health up to a point where you can start exercising, and you do the functional exercise. You work your back, your knees, your neck, your spine, your ankles, your feet, and then you're able to go and pick it up. You go to the gym now, you can start a little light cardio, you can do some light weights, and then you work your way up. It's like everything. Gut health, you start slow. You start a business, you got to start slow. You go to school, you got to start slow. Like, that's the thing. It goes back to what we talked about before. We want everything now, instant gratification, right? So if we just have patience, we can have everything we want. Just have
It's
some
so funny
patience.
that you just said that because my last conversation that is just now on my YouTube, we actually finished at exactly same point, that everything is just one tiny step, and we just have to accept that in life, in
Yeah,
everything. It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
one tiny step at a time.
And the other thing also that I think is also very important to mention is that, we want to multitask as much. 10 computer screens, 3 phones, 4 conversations on social media at one time. This is destroying our gut health. We have to stop trying to multitask to be more efficient, and we need to be more efficient with our health, which means focusing on one thing at a time. So when your boss says, have a deadline on those 8 things, you can either say, I'll get them all done right now, or keep pushing me. I'm going to go to HR. No, I'm just joking. We can't say that, but that is the reality of the matter of the thing, right? We all want to be more efficient, make more money, do more things at once, but we need to get away from that. We need to take
Yeah.
it back, slow it down, because once you have your health and you have your mindset, there's nothing in this world that can stop you from attaining your dreams and your goals. There's nothing except for you, you know?
And I think that the culture also plays a big role because from what I've heard, I've never been in States, and Polish. I lived in few countries in Europe, but I've heard that there is, in general, in US, there's this big culture of working even more than in Europe. So it's basically like, oh, maybe I shouldn't take holidays, maybe I shouldn't do this or that. And by living in Sweden, because I lived in Sweden for 8 years, they are now
Yeah.
experimenting actually with 6 hour work days because they notice that people are more efficient, more healthy,
Yes.
more happy,
Yeah.
and they're better workers. So sometimes less
Yeah.
is more.
Yeah, the best job I've ever had, I was running the security at Science Museum, Minnesota. My boss, I can say this now because he won't get in trouble. Well, I'm not there anymore. But he used to give me, each year he used to give me like 4 4-week vacations. And I only had like 40 something hours each, of paid time off. He used to just make it work for me. And he gave me so much time off that, from 2008 to 2012, before I got sick, I was in such a great place mentally that he just handed the keys over for the security department, and I would, I ran it. When Prince came for a private tour of the Dead Sea Scrolls, I handled everything with Prince. I was with him for 3 hours, so, and that is exactly it. Exactly it. You give your workers respect that, respect their time and really help them to help you. by not pushing them so hard. You know, the biggest thing in the United States is most people here, I would say 75% of people live paycheck to paycheck. So if they don't
Mm-hmm.
go to work, they're getting kicked out. They don't have money. And especially with coronavirus right now, it's so tough, you know. So the stress here is at an all-time high. And instead of the government and these amazing universities running national campaigns saying, hey, boost your microbiome, get outside, but do it safely. You can say wear your mask, social distance, but get outside. Build your immune system, because sitting in the house, sitting down watching the news is destroying your health. Sedentary behavior is bad for your health. Isolated, bad for your health. Isolated, depression. Messages of gloom and doom is depression, right? So anxiety. So we have to get that message out there. Get outside more. Be safe, you know, and I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. We had a campaign 15 years ago for milk. Drink milk. Remember the milk mustache? Drink does the body good.
Oh yeah, we had that. Yeah.
Right. The microbiome does your body the best. You know, that's the most
Mm.
important thing for your body is your bacteria. If you don't have the right amount and the right ratio, it doesn't matter if you're on keto. It doesn't matter if you're paleo. It doesn't matter if you're whatever you're doing, because you're selling your body short. You know, and that's really my main message is that work on your microbiome. It doesn't matter if you're the top trainer in the United States. It doesn't matter if you're the top uh, um, cardiac surgeon, you know, cardiac doctor in the world. It doesn't matter what your type psychologist. It doesn't matter. If you learn to incorporate and understand the fundamentals of this axis in the body, anything you're doing, you'll have more success. Your clients will get better help. Your business will be better, you know. So there's really, it's an unlimited thing. But when we look at the field of gut health, what do we think about? Probiotics,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I'm gonna change that. That's one of my missions, to change that. Because the biggest problem is Susie down the street will say, "Oh man, I'm gonna go spend my entire week's salary on that probiotic pill, put everything on it, everything onto that pill." But guess what? There might be nothing in that pill. Or you take so much that your body feels like you're getting sick, but that's your body trying to return to homeostasis, and it's happening rapidly. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. The number one piece of misinformation, I'll say this now because a lot of companies use this to sell their products. Our human cells are not outnumbered by our microbiome by 10 to 1. You'll see this everywhere. It's a complete lie, because we know this to be false. And the documents, the research, the papers come out. But again, it's so emotional when you read that. Oh my God, I need a probiotic. You know what I mean? So you're going to go buy that probiotic that they're telling you about. The other thing I've been saying for years that nobody wanted to get on board with me was, you can control the health of your baby by controlling your microbiome before the baby is before you even get pregnant. During your entire pregnancy, you work on your microbiome, you work on the baby's microbiome. For years, the doctor is saying, no, their body's sterile until their birth canal, and it's not true. The science is coming out now. So, you know, it's really about...
My mom is always putting my bad health, because my sister is fine. My mom is always putting my bad health for the fact that she was eating a lot of sugary snacks when she was pregnant with me. And maybe it's true.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting also. It's so funny, but a lot of people listening to this podcast are going to relate to this, women. So a lot of you guys who are really sick with Crohn's or colitis, you got pregnant, the Crohn's disease disappeared. Wow, imagine that. Why did the disease disappear? Could it have something to do with your hormones? Huh. So if that happened, is it possible to get pregnant, fix or work on my microbiome, come out of my pregnancy, not have to go back to IBD? Yes. So that's something that I'm working on with some doctors. And there's a lot of stuff out there that, you know, a lot of people don't want people to know because it's not good for business. But I'm not into the healings business. I'm not into the feelings business. I'm into the healing business. You know, like I want to help people heal themselves. You know, nobody out there, no person out there is a healer. I can't heal you. You know, only you can heal yourself. Now, I have learned something else. I know we're probably running short on time, but I want to share this. It's very interesting what you observe through experience, right? I know something is very interesting. I had a lady reach out to me last year. She was diagnosed with 4 months left to live. Irene Williams. She's on Instagram. I love her. She's amazing. They told her 4 months left to live. She's going to die from cancer. They wanted her to go on chemotherapy, which is interesting. If they know you're going to die in 4 months, they're going to put you on chemotherapy for 4 months and you die in 4 months. It's an interesting concept. But she decided that she's not going to take any medication. She said, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. She said, I'm going to eat well and I'm going to pray every day. And she prayed. And guess what? The cancer disappeared. So was that a miracle from God? Maybe. But what it really was, the truth of the matter, and there's Muslims, there's Christians, there's Hindus, there's people that worship their car, right? But if you believe in something strong enough, it's the same as meditating and breathwork because you put your body in a different frequency. So I said, how in the heck did you heal our body? But as time goes on and I stayed open-minded, I embraced nature, and I got to a point where I meditated one day. For the first time in my life, I had that connection I wanted with meditation. I started crying. And it was overpowering, overwhelmed feeling I never felt in my life. But it happened because I changed the way I was breathing. And at that moment, that was the third time I've ever cried. The first time the Bulls won the championship in the 90s. The second time Jordan won the championship again. The third time my first daughter was born, and I started crying and I stopped and I said, Trevor, what's wrong with you? Are you a human? And it was funny. But then when this happened, I was so embarrassed because I don't show that side of me a lot. I was home by myself and I had to stop. And it was so intense that I didn't try to meditate for at least a week. I was scared, frustrated, and excited. But that's when I learned that there's just so much more out there, that if you just put yourself in a position to receive the universe, it's endless. It's endless. And, it's not about just one thing or two things. It's really just embracing and learning yourself how to connect with nature, and nature will show you the way. Nature will provide if you tune yourself and put yourself, like you said, in that frequency,
Yeah, and I think it's a really good point to finish our conversation on that note. And me being very pragmatic person, I just want to add one sentence, because people, when they listen to that stuff, there are people who are very closed off and they think, oh, it's some hippie thing. It's not a hippie thing. Whether you want to, if you believe in evolution, we didn't evolve yet to live in, in social media and in the cell phones. Your body is made to live in nature by, even if you want to look at it scientific. It's what it is. It's not hippie mumbo jumbo. It's just.
Do me a favor. Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that last part again? Can you repeat that again? I think you cut off.
I broke up a little.
That it's not about, and then you cut off.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't know where I stopped, but I wanted to say for people that it is scientific thing that we are connected to nature, and not what some people prefer to just put, those are those hippies. No, you are made from nature, a part of nature,
absolutely.
an animal, not a robot.
Exactly, right? And I love that you said that, because everything that I do is based on science. I've had the top doctors. I've had people come to me and say, Trevor, and I say, look at the science. Oh, I had a doctor that graduated from Harvard that works in the university, that works at the hospital in Boston, say, Trevor, there's no way you could have healed your gut through just that. It's metaphysics and this and that. Guess what? A week after he got home, he was calling me, asking me to get him some kefir. Because as a kid, growing up in Iran, or Persia, something like that, he used to drink kefir every morning, and he didn't know it. He didn't realize it until we talked about it. So yes. So this is the foundation. It's just life. Kefir has been one of the foundations of life for thousands of years, and it's slowly fading out. But another main point I want to get across. It's not about kefir. It's not about a probiotic pill. Again, it's about everything together, not putting all your eggs in one basket, and just practicing it all every day. Yes, kefir will help you in the beginning much more than a lot of things, but you can never put your hopes and dreams into one thing. What if that product disappears? Right? So you have to make sure you understand the basics, and then you're in great shape, So I appreciate you having me on. It's a privilege.
Tell everybody, because you mentioned that you have your program, and of course you have your Instagram. I showed Instagram on the bottom as well. How would people contact you?
Yeah, so people can contact me. You can send me a message directly, Trevor at Simply Holistic .com, or you can reach me on Instagram at Crohn's Crusaders. My mission. Okay, awesome. Yeah, my mission really is to show people that there's another way to approach your health. And once you are able to feel it, some slight changes in your body, you will want to further explore and see what's out there. If anyone out there in the world, although I work with people everywhere in every part of the world, if you have no help, I had a guy from India yesterday call me, left his family, everybody disowned him because nobody can relate to him. I said, reach out to me. We had a conversation right before I hopped on the phone with you, and now he's in my program. We have 31 people, I think, in the program, and they've all been told there's nothing they can do. Nothing. And all of them are starting to understand how they can help themselves. So if you're out there, you've been told there's nothing you can do, you're doomed, reach out to me. Let's talk. If you can't afford help, you'll be in my program for free. I was in your position. I know what you're going through, and I don't want any of you guys to go through that at all. I'm here for you, and you're not alone.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for spending the time to talk to me. And you guys make sure that you check all the links to Trevor's social media and his email in the description. And I'm sure we'll talk soon again.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
You guys have a great day. And remember to breathe.